Good evening, folks. It is Sunday, where I'm at right now, January 14th, and we are just going to do a quick market review for the upcoming week from the 15th of January to the 19th for the week trading. And we're going to first start off with the US dollar index, run through some pound dollar, and then go into and discuss a little bit of crude oil. Going to talk just real briefly about copper, the cocoa, and then wrap everything up there with Bitcoin. So we'll wrap up the whole analysis up here in about 10 minutes quick for you, give you an idea of sort of some of the levels that we're looking at for the week coming, and give you a little bit of insight. So starting with the US dollar index. I've identified a couple of levels here. I think, as you can see, this is a monthly chart. As you can see, we have now broken out of this big bullish uptrend here. We chopped through some consolidation, one more push higher, and then it's been breaking down steadily since. And we just, as of Friday, took out this low rate in here of 90.97. So again, we're going to be looking at some continued bearishness on the US dollar index. Now, if you watched my live video, live trading session on Thursday, that's sort of when the inflection point happened. I wasn't too sure exactly what we were going to be doing. So you can see here, this is sort of what the market was doing on, this is Sunday, obviously into Monday now. This was Friday, and this was Thursday's candle, and I was doing a live session at the beginning of London Open on Thursday, and I'll just highlight this right now real quick. This candle here, so you can see kind of what I'm talking about. I'm just going to drop down to the hourly and zoom out a little bit here. So this is, again, this is Monday the 15th. This was Friday's trading, and this was Thursday's trading right in here. So when I first got onto the live session, we were looking at this, and price was sitting and dancing in here. So if you look on the daily, you know, coming back to the daily, it was in a bit of a consolidation range now. And I had said I had marked off a level here, this old low back over in here. I marked that off. We were trading in another consolidation area, and price didn't really show a real willingness to want to drop down and through. And I was looking for basically a touch off of this level for it to continue to go further south. And if it wanted to go through here, then we were going to start taking out these highs up here, and eventually these levels right up here is what I was looking at before. Now, obviously, what happened on Thursday, I'll go back to the hourly. Let me just get rid of this box here. So price started out in early trading on Tuesday. It was starting to push higher, 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 and I thought we were going to start taking out these old highs here from Tuesday. And then price just did one last little failure swing up and completely fell apart, taking out the old lows from this day right here, which I'll just take off these day dividers. Oh, sorry, not that one. This guy right here. And this is what I was looking at for the target to the downside, and it did it easily on Friday's trading. So you can see here, obviously, any retracement higher has been mitigated. We're clearly in a bearish pattern. Now, I've marked out some levels here that I'm interested going forward, and I think as an easy one, I think this area right in here is going to be suspect. I think that's going to be traded to next, and I don't, well, I shouldn't say I don't see it, but price may want to come back up and trade back up to this old consolidation area here again, and then continue to roll over. But you can see it here. You look on the monthly, we are now heavily bearish, and you can kind of get a bit of a range of sort of how far we're going to go. And this is just a rough guesstimate that you can use in your own trading. But if you kind of take the drop here into the consolidation, and then you go from the top of the consolidation and you go back down, you can see now some of the old highs back here are going to start to be challenged in terms of potential targets to reach for on the downside. So we're going to watch for those, but we're definitely going to be bearish US dollar index. Again, we may want to get a little retouch back up in here, so it may want to come back up from where it is now, sort of trade back into here, or even this old low here. We could certainly trade back into that, and then I'm going to zoom in on daily. That might be a little bit easier for you guys to see. So price may do something like this, and then continue lower from there, or it could do this and come up here, and then go lower. So we should know fairly soon. Tomorrow, or obviously I should say today, the 15th of January is a holiday in the United States, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so I don't believe we're going to see a whole lot of action tomorrow. Could be a little bit of a slow day. Some of the European pairs and some of the Asian pairs may see a little bit of movement, maybe some Aussie pairs, but for the most part, anything coupled with the US dollar index is probably going to be a little bit slow. Shouldn't see a ton of movement, but again, this is something that I'm looking for here. Some kind of a retracement higher, and then a dump sell-off, and a continuation lower to 89.54, 89.55. For round numbers would be an easy target. I think that could see it getting hit in the next little while here. So, again, and we're just looking off of the monthly. I actually got this level off of the weekly. Just an area consolidation rate in here. I think that's going to be the first target going south before we see any big retracement higher. But for sure, we're going to go to south on this heavily bearish. So we'll watch and see how that transpires early into the week. I'm going to flip over to the the pound dollar, and I've identified a few areas. I've talked about this several times in the past. We're going to keep grinding higher on this, and so you can see here we're into Monday's trading now, and it's just continuing higher and higher and higher. So I had called these levels out here for a long time. Price was kind of screwing around in here and consolidating and didn't really want to go up or down. And then finally Friday's trading, it just pushed it right through, and without question, the 13600 level got smashed, and we're now up to 137.50. So I believe we're going to go much higher on this one as well too. We've got a lot of areas in here, and whoops, trend line. And I think for starters, 13800. And I'll just maybe put a price tag on that so you can see. Some 138.50. Let's just get the lows over here. 138.35, 138.50, 138. Yeah, somewhere kind of in that ballpark. Come on, give me this. So I believe this is going to be an easy target to get hit on the upside going forward. And sorry guys, trying to get the levels perfect here. So this just right off the hop, I believe is going to get traded to fairly quickly. And again, that's only just under 100 pips away, so I think that's going to be an easy target for the week. And then we're going to see what price wants to do from there. May want to fall back out and just kind of, so what I'm thinking this price could do is we could keep pushing, grinding up, hits this level up in here, and then I believe it's going to come back down, and I think we may retest these areas in here. So I'm just going to sort of drag this over just to kind of get an idea. We could see a retracement back down into this area, and then as long as price does not want to go lower than this consolidation area in here, we'll be looking to pick up some longs in this area. But I definitely don't want to be going long up here, only because it's, I mean, you never know. They could just roll the market over right now and drop a 200 pips from here, and you definitely don't want to be caught long on something like that. You want to have some patience. You want to wait for it to roll over and then get in down here. So we'll look and see how price trades earlier in the week. There is, looking on the economic front, I'm thinking the best day to look for some longs on this would be on Tuesday. So they are probably going to keep running it up for the remainder of Monday and hit those highs, and then Tuesday they could use some economic news drivers to dump the price down back into the 13600 level, and we could look at picking up some buys in there. So we're gonna sit on our hands. We're gonna watch for this pair to do its thing, and then we'll look at picking up some longs here. But again, I mean, on the weekly, I think I think we are gonna keep going higher. There's some levels up in here that are very, very interesting. And price has been grinding nicely higher here for quite some time. And really until price breaks, excuse me, until price breaks down and clears out some of these lows here, which I don't think they're going to want to do yet. I think they're going to want to tackle the liquidity above the market up into this range. But I think that if price does want to come down and break, let's say, this level here, the 13200 level, then we'd be switching our stance to bearish, and we can look for prices lower in the market, and come back down and look at some of the targets down here. But that's neither here nor there. I don't think we're going to get down there. I think we're going to continue and stay bullish on here, and I think price will ultimately get up into this area here in the next month or two anyway, for sure. I think we're coming up into the 1.4200 ish, somewhere in that area. I think that would be the ultimate target, maybe a little bit lower, 14100, somewhere in there though. I think is where it's going to go, but we'll wait and see how that transpires. Again, going to want us to wait and see this happen. Price come up to 138.40 level, 138.20 to 138.60. So there's kind of a 40 pick area there that I'm kind of thinking price could trade up to. Come back down, grab up some longs here, reconsolidate, bounce off of this area in here, and then continue higher. So that's what I'm looking for the pound dollar. Crude oil, we had another monster week here on crude oil. Price just smashed all the highs. Went right from $61 all the way up to $64, almost $65 now, and we're trading just below $65 per barrel now. So I think long term, I think we are again going higher. I've got a number of levels marked out on the chart here that I think could be attainable: 70, 73, 20, and 74, $75 a barrel. I think are going to get hit, but we are going to maintain our bullish standpoint. Again, I had marked off some areas above this old consolidation here that I knew were going to get hit, and they smashed through it last week, like I said. So the high on that was 62.55. That was my target going into last week, and unfortunately, I didn't get a retracement. So you can see here. So this is Monday. This was, let me just double check that is Monday's candle. Yeah, we're trading into Monday. So this was Friday's candle, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and then this was Monday. What I was hoping on Monday was that price was actually going to come down into this area in here, or even into this consolidation before continuing higher, and before price took out the 62.55 level. That was my target, and you can see it just smashed through that, obviously, like it wasn't even there, and it did it early in the week. So unfortunately, like I say, we didn't get a pullback into the buy area that I had outlined. So again, we are going to be, I'm very bullish on crude oil, and I think we're going to go up to see these highs here. But I don't want to necessarily get on any longs until I see a nice retracement back down, until I see a couple of nice down candles here into this week. Even if price were to come down and trade back into this level here, that would be enough for me to get long finally. And that would probably be a swing trade. That wouldn't be a day trade. I'd hold till 65 and even $70 a barrel, which could be a few weeks out yet. But it's nice continuous bullishness on crude oil. So we're gonna watch and see how this one transpires again, going early into this week. If price starts to dive down, we'll look at picking up some longs here, so I'll let you know when that signal comes out. Moving on, I've got the I've got a chart for copper here. Now I've been talking about copper for a while. Obviously, if you've been watching some of my videos, you know some of the analysis and some of the levels have been absolutely spot on for this commodity. And we hit some lows back down in here in early December. Price has been screaming up from there, and I told you about 2 weeks ago I have no interest in buying copper at this level. I want to see a retracement. I believe it will go much higher than at current levels now, but I want to see price dive back down here. So I think what we're going to be doing is I might even be putting a sell signal out, a short-term sell signal for a day, maybe a 2-day trade on copper. Price came slamming back up in here, and I want to see what price does here at this 32.85 level. I'm sorry, 325 level, 326 level. So basically, if price does not want to get higher than here, let's double check I got the right level here. 3270, yeah, somewhere in there. That's about a good level, I think. Is kind of what I'm looking at. I don't want to see price go any higher than this. If it does, then it's going to be continued bullishness, and we'll wait for a small retrace off of the longs, up off of the highs here to get long. But so far, price it traded down, and even in here, big rejection rate in this area here. We've been consolidating. It pushed higher here and it stopped, and I want to see if price is unwilling to go any higher from here. Worst case scenario, maybe it comes in and just kind of takes out these highs and then rejects. But for the most part, if price closes higher than 32.70, then again, I don't want to buy it up here. But if it fails, I'm going to be looking to get short, and we're going to be picking a couple of targets down here for our areas to take some profit on that short, and then we'll be getting long again, because ultimately I am very bullish on copper, and I think price is going to continue its bullish run into early spring here for sure. So we'll watch this one to come out, and probably I'm not doing anything tomorrow. Sorry, I keep saying tomorrow. Today it's early morning. It's before all the markets are opening on the 15th here, but nothing's going to be happening on Monday here just because of the closure of the U.S. Banks for the holidays. So the earliest we'd be putting out a signal would be Tuesday. Want to see what price does come Tuesday, and if I see the right action and the right stalling happen, I'll put out a sell for copper. So we'll address that one on Tuesday, and we'll come back to it. Moving on, sugar here. Just want to talk about real briefly price. And again, I discussed this in detail in my live trading. For those of you that haven't seen the live trading yet, they're every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 a.m. New York time, and there is in-depth market analysis and discussion about several different forex pairs and several commodities. So you definitely want to be checking those out. But this is one I was looking at to take a sell up here. Should have done it, should have, would have, could have, but didn't. Wanted to see what price was doing, and it came right down to, I figured it was going to come down. I'm looking actually at this 0.1365 area as a level of interest for price to start to consolidate or reject and go higher. So we'll see how that pans out. This has been going, creating a higher lows for the past 6 months. So you see we have a low here, and then we have a higher low, and then we have a higher low, and what I'm looking for is another higher low, and then price to bounce off of it, reject, and then to come back up here and take out these highs again. So we'll see how that goes. If price wants to come down below here, I'm not doing anything where it is right now, basically, is what I'm saying. There was a nice rejection on this candle here. However, I don't think that's enough. I think it needs to come down to this level, down this blue line down here. So we'll see what happens early this week on this one, but could be a trade if price wants to reject and bounce in here. Then we could be looking to take a long on sugar, but we'll come back to this one here as the week progresses. I'm not going to talk anything about cotton. Had a nice retracement here, but I'm not huge on this this commodity right now, only because it's been such a nice big bull run here. If price were to come down and convincingly trade off this area, then maybe, but just for a one-day dump, and then to get higher, I don't know. There's a pretty big wick up here, so I don't really like this one. And then cocoa, I mentioned it before. I'm actually, I want to see how price develops here tomorrow and early this week. I believe we've seen the lows in cocoa, and I think we're going to continue higher. And I've got some levels marked out here that I think are going to be tagged off here in the next couple of weeks. Just kind of a rough idea, 20, 30 big figure basically. It's kind of what I'm looking at as a target. So I'd like to just see one more day on how this pans out. Could have missed it. This could have been the buy right here. We'll just kind of drop down to an hourly here. So you can kind of see it's a bit of a mess, but you can see here that price has just been unwilling to go lower. And what I was talking about earlier with those higher lows, we made a low down here, and then we made a higher low, and then a higher low, and then a higher low, and then another, and then another higher low here. So you can see we've just been making higher lows. I'm looking for that to continue, and this was a nice buy rate in here that I didn't get to on Friday, unfortunately. But this was a level I was looking at. I just didn't get to it and get a signal out in time for it. As price was coming down, it slammed into it, and then it's rejected. So I'm looking for further upside. So we'll see if price just wants to kind of meander in here, or slowly roll over. I won't be putting anything out, but if price wants to start accelerating off of this level, then we will be putting something out for this week to go long. And again, 2030 would be the level that I'd be looking at short term. So the last thing is Bitcoin. Again, I'm not changing my stance on this. I do believe these two areas in between 11,100 and 8,300 are going to get tagged. They like to come down. So did you see this drive lower here? It's cleared out a lot of areas, and a lot of people took this, got in long from here, and have been riding it up. And market makers typically like to come down, and they like to double tap lows like this. So don't be surprised if you see price come down and wash out these lows here. And anywhere in this area, I know it's a big area right now. There are some levels, and I will drive down into it once price starts trading lower. But I will be looking for a reversal in here for price just to come down, and then again to continue higher and taking out these 20,000 high 20,000 level here. That's what I'm looking for price to do, and it's been slowly sliding down. Bit of a consolidation, but it's slowly been sliding down here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if price does try to make one more push higher, somewhere up into this area here, this 1475, even 15,000 big figure. I wouldn't be surprised if price pushed up there one more time before rolling over. It sort of did it here. This was on Thursday's trading of last week. It did it here, and it actually got the high of what was the high on this candle here? Just under 15,000. It came in at 14,931. So just under 15,000, and then price rejected and has been unwilling to get higher. So again, I'm looking for prices to come down and to slide down, take out this old low here at 11,100, and even as low as 8,300 is what I'm looking at to pick up some buys and to go long. But we'll wait and see what happens. I'm bearish on this, and if price does want to come up, I might even. I'm just looking at this here, guys. If price does want to come back up, say into early week trading here, and say come up to, like I said, that 1,500 level, somewhere in and around there. See, price came up and up to this level here, took this old high, and came up to about 16,857-ish, call it 16,850. And then just rejected from there, and a lot of false rallies as well too along the way down, getting people trapping people on long basically is all they're doing there. So to be honest with you, I think a nice signal I might be looking at into this week's trading, may even see price come up into this area here and then fall off. That might be an area of interest for me here. So price to kind of do something like this, and then trade down into obviously the areas that I had mentioned down here in the blue. So we'll look and see what price wants to do into today and tomorrow's trading. If price wants to rally, then I'll be looking for some sells at this 14,300, 14,350 level. Let's just get an exact sort of measurement on this here. You know what? I actually kind of like this number right here. It would be great if price tagged that level right here. I'd be looking at going short on it and picking up some sells on it. Short term, nothing long. You know, hold out for maybe for the week on it, just enough to take out this low right here is what I'm going for, and see what price wants to do from there. So that would be a nice little trade, I think. If price goes higher than that, though, again, I don't want anybody to take us a short at 14,004 or anything just because I said it. You got to see what price wants to do. If price wants to reject off of here, it'll do it quickly, but you got to watch because there's a high up here that they could want to come up and take the stops right above this level up here as well too. So you got to watch what price does at 1440. If it wants to go any higher, excuse me, then if price starts trading above 14.4 there and goes up to 14, you know, 14,600, price cannot go any higher than that in my opinion. Otherwise the trade's invalid, but I'd be looking at to go short somewhere in that area. So anyway, we'll look and see what price wants to do from there. So hopefully that gives you a good insight as to what the week is going to have in store for us. Again, bearish outlook on the US dollar index, and that's going to help all these pairs trade in tandem to that. So as the signals start to roll out and the market starts to shape up, we will keep you updated, and we'll go from there. Thanks for your time, everybody, and we'll see you on Tuesday morning, 12 a.m. New York time. 12 a.m. New York time for our live trading session. We'll talk to you then.